Alright, now we're going to talk about solving equations with square roots. So we're going to solve quadratic equations that involve imaginary solutions as well as regular solutions, just using the square roots. So first thing we need to do is let's review. Let's do a little recap here. When we have a negative number inside of the square root, remember we need to pull out an I, because I equals the square root of -1. So this is really become 4 times I times the square root of 18. Now we simplify 18, 2, 9, 3, 3, pull out a 3, so really it becomes 12I times the square root of 2. There's our solution. Go over to this next side. So remember we can multiply the outside times the outside, inside times the inside. So really I need to change this to -2 times 6 times, and I'm going to pull out the I, times the square root of 8 times the square root of 6. Now I'm going to split these up, 2, 4, 2, 2, 2, 3, and now we go here, circle our pairs. So I'm really going to pull out 2 more 2's. So -2 times 6 is -12. So -12 times 2 times 2 times I, and then what's left inside times the square root of 3. So -2 times 2 is 12 times -24, -48. So it becomes -48I times the square root of 3. All right, then we need to go and do these problems. We're doing plus or minus. And we're just really simplifying this to become 8 plus or minus 3 divided by 2. Can I simplify that? Yeah, I can, because I can do 8 plus or minus 3. So I'm going to split this up to 2 problems. 8 plus 3 divided by 2, 8 minus 3 divided by 2. Well, 8 plus 3 is 11 divided by 2. And I'm just probably leave it like that. And 8 minus 3 becomes 5 divided by 2. So there's my 2 solutions. I'm going to switch colors here quickly so we can do this next part, because I'm going to actually take out the I to get rid of the negative there. So it's 15 minus I times the square root of 75 divided by 10. Break that up, it becomes 325, 5 and 5. There's that. So we have really 15 minus 5I square roots of 3 divided by 10. Look for our pieces that we can pull out. What can I take out of each piece? I can pull out a 5. So it's really 3 minus I square roots of 3 divided by 2. And there is our solution. All right, now let's talk about solving equations using the square root. So I'm given the quadratic x squared plus 30 equals 0. Really all we have to do is solve this like we've been solving equations since like 7th grade. Get rid of that 30, get that on the other side because we want to solve for x. So it's going to become minus 30 on each side. Becomes x squared equals -30. Now what do I do? How do I get rid of a squared? Remember, the opposite of squared is square root. So really, and I should put that negative under that second square root there. There we go. So really, the squareds and the square root cancel out, so we're left with x equals the square root of -30. Well, now we need to see, can we simplify that at all? Well, first I'm going to take out the negative, make it an I. So I'm going to check out 2, 15, 3, and 5. Well, I can't simplify that at all, so really this is just going to become x equals I times the square root of 30. Now the trick here is I'm putting this into a squared. That means I need to look at, can I put positive numbers and square a positive number? Well, yeah, I can. I can also square a negative number. So that means that this is really going to be plus or minus I square roots of 30. So x is going to equal plus or minus I square roots of 30. I'll show you another example over here. So again, what we want to do is we want to get everything, the x squareds by itself first. So I'm going to add 18, add 18. So then we're left with 2x squared equals -54. Divide by 2, so we get x squared equals -27. Now again, we want to get rid of the squared, so we have to square root both sides, making sure everything's over there. So we have x squared equals the square root of -27. Now again, what we want to do is we want to simplify that inside. So first thing I'm going to do is see if I can simplify the square root of 27, and I can. So really, put an x squared up there, I'm sorry. So x is going to equal 3, and don't forget, because of that negative, we need to put the I, and what's left inside is the square root of 3. Now I almost made a common mistake there that told you guys not to make the mistake of before, is not forgetting your plus or minus. So really this becomes x equals the positive or negative version of 3i times the square root of 3. Because you can put a positive or negative in for this x squared up on the top. For that x there, because a positive number, if I put it in, will become out positive. If I put the negative version in there, it'll come out positive as well. So remember to do plus or minus when you're doing the square roots there. Alright, I have these two problems I want you guys to try on your own. I'll show you the answers in a second. Alright, and here are the answers to those two problems. Alright, now I'm going to show you two examples of a little bit more difficult ones. So first thing remember is we need to get the x by itself, right? So what we need to do is the opposite of the order operations here. So if we look in here inside the parentheses is going to be the first thing you would do if you were doing the regular order operations, but since we're unraveling it, we want to do that last. So I'm going to get rid of that 4 first. So really it's going to become x plus 3 squared is going to equal 13. Oh, forgot that there. Now what we have is we have the square root over, or the squared over the whole thing. So what we need to do is we need to square root that entire piece, and we'll square root this entire piece as well. Now really what we're going to end up with is x plus 3 equals the positive or negative version of the square root of 13. Now again, all we have to do is get the 3 over on the other side. So I'm going to move this up here. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So really you're going to have the negative, let's put the x first. Don't forget my x. X equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 13. Now you could put the 13 after, but the radicals should always come at the end there. So that's why I put it at the end. So that's going to be my solution since I can't simplify the square root of 13 anymore. There's our fully simplified solution. Let's try this next one. So again, the first thing we're going to do is subtract 7. So we're going to get x plus 4 squared equals negative 8. We'll take the square root of both sides. So really x plus 4 equals the square root of negative 8. Now I can simplify that square root of negative 8 over there. So I'm going to simplify that, and I'm going to simplify it up here. Really it's going to become x plus 4 equals 2i times the square root of 2. Again, we need to subtract the 4, so it's really x equals negative 4 plus or minus 2i square roots of 2. And I did it again. I forgot my plus or minus 2 here, and I forgot my plus or minus the square root of negative 8 there. Don't forget your plus or minus, because you really have two answers there. You have two solutions that will work. All right, I said I was only going to do two examples. I wasn't going to lie to you guys. I want you to try these two on your own, and I'll put up the answers in a second. All right, here are the solutions I got. Check your work, see how you did. That's all the problems I'm going to do for this video, so please let me know if you have questions. Next thing we're going to talk about is actually solving using the quadratic formula. So make sure you can simplify radicals and everything before you watch that video.